Okay, what to expect when trading the afternoon session? Well, we've seen ADP expected at 150 and came in below forecast at 139, so you'd expect really the dollar to have a little bit of a sell this afternoon. It hasn't really seemed that way. We've actually seen a bit of an initial spike in the euro against the dollar, but now we've seen the euro kind of sell off. So two ways that the market are going to take this when the markets open up in America. So we're either going to see that these low points, because we're pretty low in the euro dollar already, we're going to see some attempts to break these two pin bars here in the market to move down. Don't ever get as low as 136,583, but you just don't know. Realistically, we haven't closed this gap yet, so we're still very, very negative within the euro dollar right now. So the market's either going to take this as a precursor to the non-farm payroll being lower than expected, but really, realistically, we're not a million miles away from the expectations. So we've had two pretty dismal non-farm payrolls in a row, so maybe the market's anticipating that a positive number, even though it isn't as high as predicted, even something positive will bring a bid back into the dollar. So this is the euro dollar right now. We're looking fairly negative. Again, we tried to kind of break the upper Bollinger Band and get back into these ranges and up to maybe to back to the 50% and close this gap. But I'm still very, very negative the euro from a long-term and short-term perspective. So I wouldn't be buying anywhere in these ranges. I'd certainly wait for the euro to try and test down to 136 and maybe as low as 136,253 before I was a buyer. But if you want to see what other currencies are doing, it seems that we're getting ready for a shift. Okay, the RSI is dipping, the DMARC is dipping. All my biases for pretty much all the euro pairs saying that we're ready for an eventual reversal. So the market is really kind of, it's running out of steam. This is the final kind of push lower before we do see some buying action. So we just bring up the euro pound, euro New Zealand dollar, euro CAD, euro Aussie, and let's just tile these and see what we've got. Okay, let's just open one more. Let's do the euro CAD as well. So we can see across the board, really, that the dollar against the CAD has dropped some, but it couldn't get down to the 161 retracement and any kind of break the low end short-term pivot. So for me, I think when the US market opens now, we're going to see the US CAD get back to one spot. 10962, continue that push back up. The euro CAD is looking fairly negative. Again, we've got some fairly nice targets down here at 151,434. The euro against the pound. It's one of these things, isn't it? Kind of, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red hourly candles. At some point, we have to see some sort of retracement. But remember, again, as I say, this is the final bear push in the majority of the euro-led pairs, to be honest. So we could quite easily see this short-term pivot broken and attempt to get down to the full Fibonacci sequence completion, then at 0.81790. But we'd have to see, some pretty hefty selling come into the market to see that. But again, could happen. Euro dollar again, I think probably if we don't close without the lower bowls and try to get to these lower levels, I think the market's gone far enough in the euro dollar. So again, I don't really like to say it, but I think the euro is going to have to really try and make some inroads upwards. Euro versus the New Zealand dollar. Again, it's pushing lower, but so many kind of low pin bars in the hourly that you'd expect that once we kind of find some finite support on the low side, we're going to at least get back to the lower fib level and try to get back into the range. So I'd probably say the momentum is running out of the euro New Zealand dollar, and that looks probably one of the strongest buys for me. So we hold above these lower levels here and expect the market to get back up and to really trade and come back through the fib levels. And again, we're always targeting that 50%, so 165,882 could be a good point. Euro versus the Australian dollar, again, we're just looking at everything euro paired. Again, we're holding quite nicely above the low end fib at the 423.6, so there's quite a large gap here to fill. So if the short-term pivots come into play, I would certainly look for a close above the moving average, and I'd see some strength come back. Now, it might be a couple of hours before we see some strength come back into the euros, and it depends how the market takes the ADP. So got to be difficult trading tomorrow because that's the day before non-farm payrolls, but realistically it looks for me that the euro looks a short-term buy, but be careful, try and pick these big solid short-term lows, and again they all revolve around the hourly fibs that I show in all my charts and the higher time frame points of interest.